I'll share it with you guys if you want to read it. It's only 11 pages long, so.
Ah,
Sounds good.
I
Mhm.
have started recording now, and yes,
Cool.
wonderful. Emmy very much would like to read scriptos, and I'll up.
Cool.
I'm almost done with the second draft of my Bloodborne one, so I'll put that
Ooh,
up for you guys to read. And
nice.
like David is very much familiar with the first draft and how
I,
cheerful
I
it is.
really quite liked the first draft.
Oh, so yeah, hopefully, uh, the plan is to have it done by December to put it online. So far, on track. So yes, very very happy.
That's what
Ah,
we like to hear.
me being happy and not just raging on a film.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yay.
oh God! Last week was a ride.
Oh, last week was fun.
In its own way, yes.
A little bit.
Oh, right. So, hello everyone. Um,
Hello.
Hello
we
there.
oh, hello there indeed, Master Kenobi. Um,
General Kenobi.
oh, well, we'll see. So yes.
Which is meant to start filming in March.
Ooh.
Oh God, yeah. I forgot. Do you know what? Every month that passes and you remind me of it, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that is a thing. But yes, we are in work week 4 technically. A month has passed. How mad is that?
Nice.
So, how has everyone been?
Pretty good, thanks. How are you?
Still alive for now. We'll see.
Alive is good.
I mean, it is 2020. It's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
This is simultaneously a fun thing for us to do and for a way of people to know, yes, I am alive.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, and yourself, Amy?
I am doing pretty good. I'm currently making a film about a clown. It's called Clowning Around.
Love it.
Do you want to know a little bit about what it's about?
Oh, go for it. I mean, unless you're breaking any laws.
No.
Oh, that's all right then.
Yeah. No, the story is basically about this clown who's being sacked because of the climate. So it is actually set around the coronavirus. And it's basically, I think the two people who wrote it, they read an article about a clown losing their job. So they've just made this whole story about a clown losing their job. So yeah, it's pretty grim.
Oh, fair
But
enough.
very
But
timely, though.
Yeah, but I feel like it fits like the mood of this year, so I'm just going with it. It's pretty fun.
That's one way of describing it, I suppose.
It's also something to do, so there's
Fair.
also that.
Cool, cool. And has anyone watched anything fun in the past week?
I think I have.
Oh my, do tell.
Well, I've basically been binging Line of Duty for the last week.
Ooh, nice. I
And
love that show.
I've got through all 5 series of it, and I can't believe that it's taken me this long to watch it because I've just always heard good things about the show. But I caught up to the most recent series, and I just really got hooked in the investigation aspect of the show and how it's about cops trying to find dirty cops. I really enjoyed that aspect about it because it's not something that you really see that often. Obviously, you see police officers go on after criminals, but it's very rare that you see them specifically going after Ben coppers. And I really enjoyed that aspect of the show and how each series has a different lead suspect, I guess you could say. So series 1 has Lenny James, then series 2 Keely Hawes, 3 is Daniel Mays, 4 is Fandy Newton, and Series 5 is Liverpool's own Stephen Graham.
Legend.
He is indeed. And I believe Series 6 that's filming right now is going to have Kelly MacDonald from Trainspotting. I believe she's going to be the detective in question this time around, so I'm looking forward to that now. But I
Nice.
also finished The Boys season 2. The finale was just on Friday, and it was pretty damn great. I love that show. It's so good.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, restarted watching it again now because, now that Miss Sherlock is done, I've got a new series I'm on. And yeah, I'm
Nice.
on episode 4 next. Looking forward to it. Yeah,
Very nice.
Season 1, episode 4, I mean.
Cool. I shall have to give it a watch. I keep meaning to. It's just kind of sitting there on my watch list, like, watch me. I'm like, I will. I'll get to you.
I mean, isn't that just the way it usually goes? I mean,
Yeah.
like, there are some films and shows that's like, oh, cobwebs, spiders, snakes, like a
Yeah.
proper horror film. And it's like, yeah, I could go up there, or I could just rewatch that again.
Yeah. I watched because I've been watching horror movies. I actually fell behind. I didn't end up watching the horror movie I planned to last night, but I watched The Invisible Man and It
Ooh.
Follows, and they're both like
Oh, which Invisible Man?
the new one, the
Oh, okay.
2021. Yeah. Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was an interesting, like, I have not really seen, like, domestic abuse used in a way before. And I feel like they
Okay.
did a good job. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
going to
can
say any
see
more
what
in
you
case I
mean.
spoil it, because I'm not sure if you've both seen it.
I've not seen it. I think David
Okay,
has
I'm
that.
sorry. Well, yeah, it's very good.
I thought so too. It's actually one of my. I know 2020 it really isn't the best of years to be talking about movies, but if I were to compile a top 10 list, it would definitely be in there and quite high in the rankings.
Yeah, it is probably one of my favorite modern horrors that I've seen recently, because like a lot of other stuff, like the Conjuring universe and stuff like that, they're just no,
Just
not
not
for me.
fan.
Just no.
Fair
And then
enough.
I watched another film called It Follows, which is a bit of a weird one. It's very slow as well.
Oh, I
But it's
remember
like,
that.
yeah, it's like this girl has sex with a guy, and then he basically says, "Oh, by the way, now there's this creature that's gonna follow you everywhere until you have sex with someone else. So there's that. Have fun, bye." And I'm just like, this is such a weird film.
Um, yeah, like I remember watching because, like, I think it was around October when I was still living with my parents that we watched it, and I watched it with my parents, and we were like, "Oh,
Awkward.
okay, fair enough. That was a film." Anyway,
Yeah. Oh, the sex scenes in it were just so awkward. I ended up skipping one because I was like, I am uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Because
I
there
can't
is
say that I really blame you.
there is like one scene where there's just no music, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm good.
do you know, I can't remember the sex scenes in that.
There's one as well where it's like, what's uncomfortable about it is it seems like the female in the situation is not enjoying it, so I'm just like, I am very uncomfortable right now.
Oh, is that the one in the hospital with
Yes.
Chad?
Yes, that made me so
Okay.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't. Yeah, I can see why that would be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh.
And also, I started rewatching Doctor Who. Well, I say rewatching.
Oh,
I
very
started
nice.
watching season 11 because I was like, I like Jodie Whittaker. Let's see what she does with the role. And I was like, yes, I'm all
You're
for
enjoying it?
this. I'm enjoying it. Yep.
Nice.
And so is
I'm
Mikey.
Oh, that's good.
Yep.
I'm a fan of Jodie Whittaker's Doctor as well. She's not one of my favorites. Like I definitely think she gets into a groove in series 12. But I quite like her as the Doctor. I'm looking forward to seeing more of her in the role in series 13.
I'm excited to see more. Like, from what I've seen so far, I've only seen like 5 episodes, but yeah, from what I've seen, I'm really enjoying it. But
Very nice.
my favorite Doctor's always going to be David Tennant.
He is pretty great.
I've only
Yeah.
ever watched William Hartnell.
Oh, very nice.
It's literally the only Doctor I've ever watched. It's like
That's a deep cut.
so he's my favorite by default.
Very nice. It's a
Fair.
good Doctor to have as your favorite.
Just the cranky old man always gets me, so I'm like, yes, I am down with this.
I feel like you might like Peter Capaldi then, because he's very grumpy in that,
Do you know
That's
what?
true, but
from what I remember.
he warms up though. He
I
does
did-
warm up.
I did watch the premiere of Capaldi, like the 2 hour special or something like that. It was a few years ago, but I thought, yeah, sure, I can see what they're doing. And then I just never watched it again. It's just like, oh, okay, just kind of fell by the wayside.
Yeah, I
Fair
kind of
enough.
did the same. Like, I watched a bit of it, and I was just like, just other things came up, and I just never like went back to it. And for some reason, the other day, I was like, "Do you know what? I'm gonna give Doctor Who another go."
Nice.
Sweet.
Yup.
Oh, look at us actually using downtime to watch things.
It's
I
my
know.
favorite thing to do.
Nice. Oh, well, I finished Miss Sherlock and I can confirm it is fantastic. So
That's good.
if anyone wants
Cool.
a good female Sherlock story, there you go. Watch Miss Sherlock, please.
Wait,
I
so are you saying Enola Holmes isn't a good movie, Dylan?
Do you know what? There's a hint of well, questionable material in there, but you know.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Had they
Jeez.
improved Sherlock and Minecraft, then it could have been a good thing.
Oh, it would be a start.
Hmm
Oh,
I think
Amy.
it might be a good idea to skew away from Enola Holmes for the time being.
Yeah, before we end up ranting about it again.
Oh, actually, speaking of Sherlock, Amy, because you're into the anime, I think either it was yesterday or today, I can't remember, but I haven't started it yet. But there's a new anime about Sherlock coming out this season, and it's centered around Moriarty.
Ooh.
And it's like, oh, okay, sure, let's give it a go.
Definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, and plus it's done by the same guys who did Psychopaths, if you know it.
I do know it. I watched some of it.
Yeah,
Need
it's
to go back to it.
it's the same studio. Psychopaths was pretty good. I still haven't seen season 3 yet, all the way through at least. But yeah, just a quick aside because we were on the Sherlock topic and I found out about it like 2 days ago.
Nice.
So then, right. I think that was the quickest intro we've done so far. 30
Yeah.
Doing
minutes.
good, guys.
We're doing good.
So today we are talking horror directors, our favorite ones and whatnot. I mean, I'm pretty sure that after we've talked about our favorite, we'll go on and talk about others anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Probably.
flip of a coin or a fight to the death. Who's gonna go first between the two of you?
You know what, Amy? I think we should just let Dylan be the first one to go.
Yep.
But you see, I will win regardless, so I get to choose who to go first.
Fine, then choose your fighter.
Oof, I don't know. Do you know what? Yeah, I'll go first. Why not? Why not?
Very
For
nice.
it.
Just so that I can set the stage and whatnot. So do you know what? It was actually pretty freaking hard to pick one favorite horror director because, like, a lot of the horror films are like one or two films from this guy's filmography and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh my god, come on.
I know what you mean. I kind of had a similar problem.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I could go with James Wan, but I'm like, I could, but he's done like some really significant horror films, but half of his films are like suspense and Aquaman.
Yeah.
Hey, Aquaman had the
The trench,
with,
yeah,
yeah,
that was cool.
it
But
was my
like,
favorite part of the movie.
oh god, yeah. And then there's also Eli Roth, who is just, splatterfest and all that. But then his last film was a kids' film, and I'm like, oh, come on, dude.
Oh yeah, House with a Clock in Its Walls.
Do you know
I
what? I
forgot about
enjoyed that
movie.
film. I think we went to watch it together, didn't we?
You know, that film, I enjoyed it, but it really does have a cursed image in it towards the end of the film.
Does it? I can't remember.
It's when time is kind of causing certain characters to change ages and sizes, and
Oh.
it was a cursed image.
Okay.
That sounds horrifying. Ooh, speaking a little bit.
It's alright. It's alright. Yeah, like, I only watched it the one time, and I enjoyed it for what it was, so beyond that, I've got nothing. But then I was thinking, okay, what if I... And then there's like Jordan Peele, who did Get Out, which was cool, and then Us was just there. Like, my opinion of Us has really gone downhill the more I think about that ending.
To be honest, when we first saw it, I thought that you didn't think much of it.
Like, oh, so that's consistent, I guess. And you know what? I thought, okay, I'm gonna go and go on a wild pick. I'm gonna talk about Satoshi Kon, who is an anime director. And,
very nice.
Like, I literally just decided it because I would have picked Rob Zombie, but I already spoke about him quite a bit last week, so I thought, yeah, let's go with Satoshi Kon instead. And the reason why is because, like, he probably made one of my favorite films, which is Perfect Blue. And for anyone who might not know, Perfect Blue was a film that Darren Aronofsky bought the rights to way back in the day, just so that he could use a particular bathtub shot in Requiem for a Dream. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. He also did a really, really interesting show called Paranoia Agent, which is like explores paranoia. Who would have guessed? But it goes off on this anthology kind of thing, and it's not horror centric, but it's so unnerving how close to reality it can be. Primarily because of the fact that, like, the main thing about that show is, like, there's rumors going around in the city where this kid is just knocking people out with a baseball bat.
Okay.
But it's like no one has actually found evidence of this kid, and like each episode is a new story, and it goes through like underage suicide all the way till like paranoia of media, and it just covers all sorts. And it, like, the underage suicide thing was particularly uncomfortable because, like, it's this like happy-go-lucky episode where these two guys and girl are just having fun, and then the episode just kind of ends with them hanging, and I'm like, holy Jesus, okay. I did not see that coming. Wow. So yeah, Paranoia Agent, fantastic. And Perfect Blue, okay, so I'm gonna assume you guys have seen Black Swan.
I have,
Yes.
Okay, so Perfect Blue is basically Black Swan, but like 15-20 years earlier.
Okay.
Like, it revolves around this music idol in Japan, and she retires to, pursue the most serious arts, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And she just gets stalked by this fan to a
Oh
really
yeah, I've heard
obsessive
of this
degree.
movie.
Yeah, exactly. And like the visual trips that it goes through, like the visuals and how everything is portrayed is just so like it is so good. Anyone who's into like psychological stuff, just perfect blue, man. Like it's so good. And plus, I think my favorite, absolute favorite film of his is Paprika, which, if no one else knows, is a film that Christopher Nolan credits as his inspiration for um, Inception.
I was gonna
Oh,
say
okay.
Paprika sounded familiar.
Yeah, and like because it's anime, visually it's just a lot more flexible, diverse, and expressive. So you got like a very full screen of just all sorts of imaginative things going on, and it's just, porn for the eyes, so to speak. But it's like,
Nice.
yeah, man, like Satoshi Kon, man, like he is incredible. And like if ever, like it's such a shame that he passed away a few years ago, and
Ah,
yeah, we're never gonna get another Satoshi Kon piece of film again. But my god, his work is incredible. So because of how uh, how I am with anime, I'm gonna pick Satoshi Kon as my pick, as uh, well, a director that's certainly influenced how I've looked at media at the very least. So I'm gonna go for him when it comes to my horror pick.
sounds like a very good pick. I'll have
Cool
to check out
choice.
some of his stuff.
I can lend you some of his stuff if you want.
Likewise.
I'll take you up on that offer.
Sweet. Now, which one of you is gonna go next? Blood is in the air.
How about you, Amy?
I don't mind going next. I feel like mine's a bit of a basic choice because I went for Wes Craven.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
And I'm
I
also-
was. Ooh, sorry.
It's okay. As I say, and I'm also a bit conflicted about whether I actually enjoy him because, like, I found out that on his first set, he literally threatened one of the actresses, and I'm like, dude, okay, I know you're directing horror, but come on.
Was that on The Last House on the Left?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he had castmates terrorize this other actress and literally threatened to throw her off a cliff if she didn't get the line right. So I'm like, as a person, maybe not, but I really like his films.
Sounds a bit Shining-esque.
Yeah, but that was his first film. Not that that's an excuse, but I'm just saying maybe some kind of stress-induced thing happened to him. I don't know. I'm not excusing the behavior, but you know, I still like his films, so I feel like I have some problem with him as a person, but literally, it was really difficult to pick a director, and I kind of noticed a pattern with what the amount of horror films that I'd seen. Most of them are by Wes Craven, so that's mostly why I picked him.
I mean, to be fair, like, he has done quite a lot of the most iconic of the horror films.
Oh yeah.
That's very true. He's made two of the biggest villains in horror, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I mean, he introduced the world to Freddy Krueger, and oh my god, when I found Freddy Krueger, because I think I watched Nightmare on Elm Street when I was 9 because I got hold of my mum's VHS tape of it. So poor 9-year-old me was scarred for life.
Oh, nice. I think,
So yeah,
do you know, I'm one of those people, I actually prefer the second Nightmare.
fair enough.
But yeah, absolutely. Like, I think I watched Nightmare like 8 or 9 as well. Maybe, oh god, like, yeah, like me growing up was weird. I used to watch Evil Dead, Alien, Nightmare when I was young, and then Teletubbies when I was 15. So,
Yeah.
Tinky Winky,
yeah.
here we come.
Yeah, he horrified me as a kid, and he was like my mum's favorite villain, and I kind of bonded with my mum over horror. So
Oh, nice.
that's
That's
kind
awesome.
of yeah. So like she mostly got me into Wes Craven movies by leaving her VHS tapes around. Thank you, Mum. I remember like when I got around to watching Scream, that was more like when I was sort of like at an age where horror movies weren't like terrifying to me anymore. Like I genuinely enjoyed them. And I don't know why, but I just remember really enjoying Scream. I'm just
think
watching it and being like, this is so cool. Like, people are getting murdered, but I don't know, this is just cool.
I think it's really cool that Scream is kind of like a really tongue-in-cheek deconstruction of the horror genre. I think that really adds to the fun of it.
Yeah.
Because like it's addressing horror movie tropes while it's doing them in a really self-aware way. So
Yeah.
I think that could help.
And the fact that we're getting a Scream 5, I think, just speaks to the legacy of the original,
Yeah.
and how much that made an impact on the genre.
Definitely. I'm not sure how I feel about Scream 5, because I mean, I feel like maybe they should have just left it as a trilogy, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. But you know,
Like,
I'll go on.
I was gonna say, I feel like Sydney Prescott's been through enough. Leave her alone. Let her
One
just
more
have
film.
Hey, maybe next time she'll be Ghostface.
Oh, that'd
It's
be
the
an
only thing
interesting...
left.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting thing for them to do. Like, she's literally snapped and she's become Ghostface now.
She is the Michael Myers.
I was gonna say, it was a tie between Wes Craven and John Carpenter, but Wes Craven won because I'd just seen more films by him. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's. I definitely do believe that Wes Craven has done a lot of the more iconic movie villains, whereas John
Yeah.
Carpenter has probably made more horror films, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mention John Carpenter,
Oh no.
because he's actually my choice.
See, like, no joke. It was between those two for me as well, but because
Yeah.
I was going first, I was like, oh no. If I pick one of them, I might screw one of you guys over. So I was panicking a bit. That's why I was stalling for time while I think of a third director.
Nice job.
It's a
Well,
talent stalling.
Yeah. Well, that leads nicely into David's pick then. So yeah, Wes
Yes.
Craven for me.
Very good choice. So yeah, as I mentioned, John Carpenter is my pick, but I also had trouble kind of coming up with a pick for a favorite horror movie director, because, like Dylan was saying, a lot of the horror films that I've actually seen, when it comes to a director's filmography, I might have seen one or two, maybe three at best.
Yeah.
So I was trying to pick between the ones that I had seen, and I actually came up with a list of a couple of directors that I might have liked to have talked about had John Carpenter been picked. And a couple of them were Mike Flanagan, who did Doctor Sleep and Gerald's Game, and The Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor. Then Sam Raimi from Evil Dead fame and Drag Me to Hell. As Dill mentioned, Jordan Peele with Get Out and Us. And then I also thought about Guillermo del Toro, and how horror has kind of influenced his career in a sense, with films like Blade 2, Crimson Peak, and elements that were in the Hellboy movies and The Shape of Water and Pan's Labyrinth. But I ultimately came to John Carpenter because Halloween is just a film that has really stuck with me ever since I saw it. I wasn't really into horror films all that much until I was in film studies in sixth form, and my lecturer decided, oh yeah, we'll put on Halloween because we're getting close to Halloween, which that's just because he's pretty damn awesome. But yeah, he showed it to our class, and it was the first time I'd ever seen anything like it, to be honest. Like I said, I wasn't really that into horror, but I just really got interested in the concept of Michael Myers and everything with Loomis and Jamie Lee Curtis's character. I also think criticism that is levied against the film, that it kind of looks cheap looking, I kind of think that adds to the film in a way. Like, it's not stylized or anything. It's just very. It's very. I don't know how to phrase it, but I think it adds to the reality of the film in a way. Like, this could literally happen to anyone. Like, as crazy as that sounds, someone
It's
could.
very mundane.
Yeah.
Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I think that's what I mean. Because like just the horror of like someone going around and killing a bunch of people like that, it's terrifying.
And
I
not
find
saying a word. Just like no words being said is just I think that's the ultimate scary thing about him is he never speaks.
exactly like that's what I love, because if you read the script for the original Halloween, John Carpenter doesn't call him Michael Myers in the script. When it's like referring to, oh, like what the character is doing in a certain scene, he calls him the Shape,
What a name.
because he's literally just always there, and he's always so present, but he's also like keeping a distance and stalking his prey. And like you said, he doesn't speak. He's just kind of there and always. He's like, to quote Doctor Who, he's like an oncoming storm. Like, he's just not going to stop, and I find that really scary. And we mentioned this, I think, in one of the previous shows, that he is an artiste. He is an artist with his kills.
Yeah.
Just the way that, and this is throughout the franchise from what I've seen, but he has a very interesting way of killing people, I guess you could say. Like, at one point in the film, he's hiding under a bedsheet pretending to be the boyfriend of one of the friends in the film. He's even got glasses on over the bedsheet. And then you've also got to take into consideration the fact that John Carpenter also did the music for Halloween, and that is an iconic score if I've ever heard one. And it always gave me chills. Like, I remember when I was walking home from school, I'd stayed late in the library, and it was actually quite dark when I left school. So I was just walking home, and I just kind of had the music from Halloween running around in my head, and I got kind of creeped out because I was walking home alone at night. Well, not night, but dark, and it was just, it's quite unnerving that the film stuck with me that much. And I think that's just a testament to like an icon. And the fact that he's still involved with the franchise, I think that says something. But you know, he also made The Thing, that not the original Thing from Another World, but
The Kurt Russell one, yeah.
The Thing that we all know and love, the Kurt Russell one. And that's another film that has great intensity in the fact that the killer could literally be anywhere. And I feel that is a commonality between Michael Myers, because Michael Myers always seems to be a bit there, but the Thing could literally be anyone or anything. It could be a dog, it could be a human, it could be your best mate, and I think that's really scary. And I also love the practicality in the Thing, like the practical effects, the grey, and are actually quite scary. And I think all of the actors in the Thing do a great job as well. But yeah, that's my thoughts on John Carpenter. He's just a legend.
Sweet. Okay.
Nice pick.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Now here's a question for you. If you had to pick, which would you watch, Halloween or The Thing?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Ooh.
Am I eating pizza in this scenario?
Sure, why not?
I would probably pick Halloween then, because I remember when I first watched the thing, I was eating pizza and it made me feel very sick.
Oh,
I can
okay.
definitely
You
see
know,
what you mean.
the assimilating the dog scene, and I was just like, okay, I'm not hungry anymore.
I think another one is the stomach scene.
Oh,
I think
the
it's stomach. Yeah.
yeah. This is
Uh,
such good practical effects, but oh my god, don't eat while you're watching it because it's just. Ugh.
Literally, and the fact that the film really does kind of end on a cliffhanger, like
I love
it could be Kurt Russell's character. It could also be why am I forgetting his name?
It's David. Oh my God, David.
Keith David.
Keith David. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I watched a theory video of like it was basically a video counting down like when the characters got assimilated, or like theories of when certain characters got assimilated, because obviously you don't really see all of them get assimilated, only some of them. And
Oh,
it was
yeah.
really interesting.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I think it was a What Culture video, I'm not too sure. I'll see if I can find it. But yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, it was interesting to see like, oh, this is when this character got assimilated, or possibly, because obviously it's not shown, so it could be a completely different scenario. But yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Nice. I think I would probably. I think I'd probably watch Halloween. I don't know whether it's just because we're getting close to that time of year, but I'm really in the mood to rewatch Halloween, so I'll probably pick that. Try me out another time of the year, and I might say the thing, but
Yeah,
they're both great movies as far as I'm concerned, so I'll enjoy
yeah.
either.
definitely.
Like, I've always been one. Like, I've always loved The Thing far more than Halloween. Like, The Thing is my jam.
Understandable.
That's fair. I mean, I think the thing's more like body horror, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, even beyond that, though, like, the fact that you know it's out there is horrific in itself, because just the sheer tension of it.
Yeah.
Like, and the performances of like Kurt Russell, Keith Davids, and all those guys are just phenomenal in that film. So, and plus the fact that it's such an isolated location, like it just all adds up to it.
Yeah. Oh, what did you think of the? I think it was meant to be like a prequel.
Oh, the
wasn't
2011
it? Yeah.
prequel.
What did you think of that?
I skipped it.
I watched it and I was just kind of like, I see what you're trying to do, but I don't think it needed to be there, because the whole thing with the thing is, where did it come from? How did it get there? That's kind of part of the horror of it. Like, if you try and explain where it's come from, it kind of takes it away a little bit.
Plus, they did show it in the trailers where it came from as well. So I'm like, oh
Did
well.
they
It's like,
really?
oh, well,
Yeah,
now I know
legit.
where it is.
Like,
yeah,
oh
so
my
it just
God.
kind of.
Like,
That's mad. Like, obviously, a lot of prequels and sequels and reboots try to find new ways of coming at a story, but actually revealing like where the thing comes from.
I mean,
that's
like,
bizarre to me.
to be fair though, like it is like the first 20 minutes of the film, so like it is the inciting incident. So it's understandable why they put it in the trailer, because like, oh, this is where it's coming from, and then the horror ensues. So
Yeah.
from that perspective, I do get what they mean, what they were going for. But at the same time, though, it's like, I mean, I could have done without that
Yeah.
personally.
I mean, yeah, I feel if your
part of
prequel, if your prequel's taking away from the original, then I don't think it should be a thing.
Not
Sorry.
even Mary Elizabeth
Yeah, I
Winstead made
agree.
me watch that, and I love her.
I know, and she
It-
didn't make it very good. Sorry,
Oh, that's a shame.
I'm disappointed.
That's such a weird idea, though, because I think a lot of the intensity from the thing is that we don't know what it is and we don't know where it's come from. It's just there.
Yep.
And it could be anyone or anyone or any creature. Like, I think that's part of the wonderment behind the John Carpenter film. So to do that in the prequel is just a bit bizarre. I also find it a bit funny that not only was the John Carpenter thing not the original thing, and not only did we get the reboot of that one, but we're also meant to be getting a new Thing movie.
Oh,
Oh no.
So I'd actually kind of laugh if that was a sequel to the John Carpenter thing.
With Kurt Russell reprising his role with
Yeah.
Keith David.
You know what?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be against that. Just to see what they do with it.
Yeah, it'd
And
be
you know what?
interesting.
Just one more great thing about the thing. They knew how to do a cliffhanger as opposed to
Yes.
just like being so completely unfulfilling. Like, I don't know why, like earlier when I was thinking of like which director to pick for this topic, I was like, oh, John Carpenter, because he did The Thing, which was fantastic. And it just got me thinking about cliffhangers in films, you know, like Inception had that cliffhanger and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. And it just got me thinking, it's like, what makes a good cliffhanger, and what are the scenarios that dictates it being good or bad? And I want to pose something to you guys, and I want to hear
Go for it.
like what you guys think of it. So I've come up with 4 scenarios. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
scenario A, a film gives you the audience member the answer and the characters in the film the answer. Scenario B, you know the answer, but the characters don't. Scenario C, the characters do, but you don't. And scenario D, neither of you know the answer. And I feel if either A, B, or C is fulfilled, where someone knows the answer, I'm okay with it. But if no one knows the answer, I would be pretty annoyed with it.
I mean, yeah, because when you watch a film, there are a number of questions that the viewer goes through, and if you don't get any answers, you're just kind of left there going, why did I sit here and watch this film where I don't get any of the answers?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why, like, when it comes to The Thing and Inception, I'm like, okay, based on everything that we've seen in the film, all the setup, all the actions, all the variables involved, like, eventually the characters will know, even if I don't, and I'm okay
Yeah.
with that, and that's satisfying.
Yeah,
But-
you can see a resolution, like it's either one of them's assimilated or they're not.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas,
Like it's just over the horizon of the movie. Like even though there is no end credit scene, it's like once the credits stop, that's when they find out.
yeah, exactly.
I feel like that adds to the horror of the movie because you're like, how like being left on your own with the potential assimilated person
And
that's
knowing what's
just-
already
and-
come
yeah,
before.
and just being like, well, this person could assimilate me or kill me, and just being left to the imagination. So your brain is coming up with scenarios of, oh my god, what if they kill them in this way? What if it kills them in this way? What if it assimilates them and he goes to the rest of the the world and stuff like that? You're just kind of left with that.
Imagine if there was a third person in that scenario, and
Jack Frost.
Yeah. Just a random third character just shows up, just pops out of the snow like, hello.
Oh
like,
my God.
they're just wondering which one of them is it. So
Yeah.
they've got their eyes on both of them.
Oh god. And you know what, like, as far as I think what got me thinking about that is because, like, I don't know if you two remember, but do you remember watching Hidden by Michael Haneke for European class?
Oh yeah, or in French it's called cachet, isn't it? Or
I don't
cache?
care.
I believe so.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I remember the ending of that film being quite frustrating.
Yeah, like that's
It's
that's
It's
what
like
actu-
a blink and you'll miss it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Like the fact, like I think I said this to Lydia in class as well. Is like you gave me a great first 2 acts, and it feels like you just didn't give me the third act, which I kind of hate.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated that course except for 2 films. Legit.
Which
So what you're saying is it was worth it?
I got my rage out of it, so sure.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I mean, oh my god, like me talking about that friggin' Hearthstone and home, just raging on them in class, just like, oh
I remember that. You did not like those films one bit.
no. And then Loveless can just piss off for all I care.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What are some other directors that you were hoping to possibly talk about?
As far as directors go, I don't know, like, how do you guys feel about Jordan Peele, all in all? Like, just as an aside.
I still haven't seen any of his films, but from what I've heard of them, and like I know the spoilers because I was reading up about them. I think he's really good from what I've heard, but I need to actually watch the films to
I
make
get what you mean.
a
Yeah.
proper opinion, I think.
Fair enough. Like,
I really love Get Out. I think that is far and away the better film between Get Out and Us. But I also really enjoyed Us. Like I get what you mean by some of your criticisms about the film. But I just remember watching it for the first time round, and I was just kind of on the edge of my seat. Like I knew from the very beginning of the film exactly what the twist was going to be.
oh yeah, like the beginning did not mince words.
It was plainly obvious what they were going for. So I just kept watching the film in a way to see, okay, if I'm right, when's it going to happen?
Yeah.
And you know, eventually you get there. But aside from that, I really enjoyed Us. But Get Out is far and away the better film.
Yeah. Like I do go on.
Sorry. No, it's okay. Go on.
No, like I was just gonna say that I totally agree with you when it comes to Get Out. Like it is a really solid film, and I really enjoyed it. And
Daniel Kaluuya is great in that movie.
Oh.
So good.
hells yeah. I'm so glad he got away from Johnny English to do that. But
Absolutely. And he's in the big leagues now, like with Queen and Slim, Widows. He was in Black Panther. You know, he's
God.
going places.
I keep forgetting about Widows. That film was so
I know you
disappointing.
do.
My God, that was such a letdown. But yeah, like as far as Us goes, like I was with it, you know, as long as the ending just didn't fall off a cliff, I would have liked it, but the ending did just fall off the metaphor. It kind of leapt off the metaphorical cliff, and it just really soured the experience for me. But the first like hour and 50 minutes of it were great. It's just the last 10 that just blew it for me. So
Yeah, I can see what you mean. I think the great thing about Jordan Peele is that you can see how dedicated he is in his work.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, of course, it's only 2 films so far, but like from the work that he's put into them, it's so well thought out and well crafted, and just the way that the films are even shot. Great work by the cinematographers.
Oh yeah, like I'll never say he never cared. Like he
Oh, yeah,
cared.
of course, of
He
course.
absolutely cared. You know,
Definitely. And I think he can get obviously great performances from his actors like Daniel Kaluuya in Get Out, Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh,
in Us.
she was amazing in Us.
She was incredible.
Even M'Baku was great.
M'Baku was great. I liked Elizabeth Moss in that film. As
I
well.
did. I'm so happy she's getting big roles now, because the first time I saw her was in Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, and I was like, oh, she's amazing, and then just never saw her for 10 years. So I'm so glad she's getting roles now.
Oh, she was great in The Invisible Man as well.
Oh
But
yeah, she was. I forgot that.
But yeah, I honestly, when it was coming to the Oscars, I was rooting for Lupita Nyong'o to get a Best Actress nom, because I just thought she was phenomenal in that film. I was really quite shocked when she didn't get in.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. Absolutely. So,
So since
oh,
we were talking about plot twists, and I was like, do you think horror movies try and do plot twists too much now, or do you think they still work?
ooh, um, it. Okay, see, when it comes to plot twists and horror films, to me, do as many as you want for all I care. Just make sure the execution of the idea works more than anything else.
Yeah.
Um, because like okay, a bit of a Babysitter 2, for example.
Okay.
What a wet fart of a plot twist that was! Like, my god, like it's just, the first one was a fun film. I'll give it that. The second film, like, it's just every single time that there is a twist, I'm like, that you are actively contradicting the first film, you absolute ham sandwich. What are you doing? You know? So for me, it's all about the execution of it.
Yeah.
Have all the plot twists in the world. I don't really mind. It's just make it make sense. That's all I care about.
Yeah, I feel like far too many films just go, ooh, and then this happens, and you're like, okay, but that makes no sense.
Yeah, like Game of Thrones, for example. Like the twist is, oh, Arya killed the White Walkers, and it's like, but
Okay.
why? Like,
Yeah.
why? Why her? You know, it's like, oh, because no one saw it coming. Yes, but why her?
See,
You
that's
know?
what's annoying. I feel like they're going, ha, you didn't know, so therefore it makes it a good twist. And it's like, no, if there's nothing leading up to it, it just basically looks like you're doing random stuff with the story.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, no, makes sense. It doesn't matter if people predicted it. Just,
Exactly.
I mean, Endgame was a massive prediction, and it was great, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I totally wasn't expecting Thanos to die so early in the film, so I was like, wow, that was.
I mean, Thanos is the only character in that film that died twice, so.
Yep.
I think follow me. Yeah, I think in a sense, films, they can be as much of a detective story as you want. Like, you're following leads throughout the entire film to get to an ultimate goal. In a detective story, it would be catching whoever caused the crime, committed the crime. And I think in a sense, with films, it can kind of be the same way. You're watching the film to kind of get to the point of the film. And as long as you can get to the point of the film and it all logically makes sense, then you're there. Good for you.
You did well, writer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you were saying, you can't come out of nowhere. And I feel as though if you're gonna do a twist, make sure, even though it makes sense, make sure that it's not too obvious at the same time. Like, in a sense, we all know that there's going to be a twist in an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and I think with a lot of his films being thrillers, I think that takes away from the suspense of his films, because you're just constantly waiting for the twist. And I can definitely see what you mean, where you're saying that a lot of horror films are relying on twists, and I think that's because they want to surprise audience with like a death or who the killer is, or jump scare.
Yeah. Jump scares. Can we talk about them next? Because oh my god, they're annoying.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of them either. Like, it's one of those where it's like just a big loud noise, and it's like, you expect us to jump. You thought wrong.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they do get me because I'm just genuinely, like, I am an anxious person, so loud noises, anything like that, it's gonna make me go, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
I remember when I went to see It Chapter 2 with my mum and dad, they were laughing their heads off because any time there was a jump scare, there was just me jumping in my seat. But it was literally, I'm like, I'm not scared. I'm just high alert. If that
No
makes any
joke.
sense.
No joke, Amy, as we were talking about jump scares, I was getting a picture to transition to, and it's literally Pennywise, and you started talking about it. It was amazing. Oh. But yeah,
Great.
jump scares are a peculiar thing. They can work, but if your jump scare is
Yeah.
predicated on loud noise, jump cut, it's incredibly cheap because you're relying on the loud noise to get the jump
Yeah.
rather than anything else. But I think as far as of the better executions, I think Annabelle Creation has some pretty good jump scares
David
by
Sandberg.
David Sandberg. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's a really good one in the first Insidious film because
Oh yeah.
it got me because there were two characters talking and it was daylight, so my brain went, "It's daylight, they're talking, everything's gonna be fine."
And then Darth Maul is just in the corner standing.
Yeah, I was like, that was a good jump scare because there was no loud music or anything. It was just hey-oh, and you're just
See-
like, oh my god, that's not right.
I love it because as far as the master for jump scare goes, I do think that is James Wan in our current day.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like even in the Conjuring films,
Yeah.
like they can be up and down, but the mainline Conjuring films by James Wan, they're so
Yes.
consistent in their tension and like initial jump scares that I'm like, okay, fair enough,
Yeah.
James, you have earned this jump scare.
I think jump scares can work like you said, but I think a lot of our fright that goes into a jump scare, I think it's also dependent on the characters. Like if we don't care about the characters,
yeah.
then it's also gonna be a case of, oh yeah, they're dead now. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I don't care. Make me care about this person.
And plus,
Otherwise, I'm just gonna be like, fair enough, they're dead.
yeah, and
Next.
plus, like, the placement of the jump scare matters quite a lot as well because, like, if you get into a pattern, every time something starts, you'll be like, jump scare coming, I am prepared, and now I am bored.
Yeah,
So,
you're like, oh, I saw that coming. Like I remember that happening when I watched The Nun. I was like,
oh Jesus,
the
the nun.
walked across the room. I was, She
Oh,
literally just walked across the frame. I was like, was that supposed to scare me? And I'm like I said, jump scares do affect me because it's like sensory overload. But I was just like, really?
like, me and a friend
Come
went to
on.
watch The Nun together, and on our way home, we were like, do you know, The Nun is a really weird RPG? You've got the tank,
Okay.
you've got the healer, and you've got the DPS character, and they're all useless.
I never thought of it that way.
Because you've got Mexican dude from Hateful Eight,
Damien Bashir.
Damien Bashir. Yeah, Damien Bashir. Like, he's the tank because he takes all the damage and gets buried everywhere.
Yep.
And then you've got Vera Farmiga's sister, Taisa Farmiga, and she's the healer because she's going around taking care of everyone. And
Aw.
Frenchie's beating everyone up, so he's the DPS. So you've got the start of a really good RPG, but they're all kind of incompetent. And it's like
Yeah.
every time it's like, oh, we better leave. It's like, nah, let's stay. Like, dude, you were buried alive by nothing. It's time to go.
Yeah.
It's like if you're gonna have a jump scare, if you're gonna have it on like teenager number 4, you might not care. But if you have it against Sydney Prescott, you're gonna care.
Yeah,
It's
because you're like,
probably gonna scare
oh
you
hell.
more
Yeah.
because you
if-
actually care about the character.
Yeah.
I would argue that depending on how you set up Teenager Number 4, it can work. I mean, start of It Chapter 1.
That is true.
I mean, start of It Chapter 1, for example, you know,
Yeah.
Georgie is going down and we
I
barely
hate
know
that
him.
Scene. Yeah.
And that works.
Yeah,
I
but
feel-
I also think a lot of the scare with It Chapter 1 and Georgie, it's also a little kid.
Yeah.
Also true. But then, yeah, Georgie's a
And
kid,
you-
but
and you get
teenagers
to-
are fair game.
I don't know why, but that seems to be the case when it's like children in danger. I don't know, there's like something. I think it's mainly because kids, the way they are, they're designed to look cute as a kind of defense.
And
I
plus,
mean, you
it's
also
like,
see his relationship with Bill in the first
Yeah.
scene, so
And you sort of,
there's a bit of character development there.
yeah,
for me, it didn't help because Georgie was exactly the same age that Mikey was at the time. So I was just like,
Ooh.
I can't separate my being a mum right now. It's just playing on it.
yeah.
And I was
It's
just like, oh, this is so evil. But
It's-
That
it's
must have
done
been
really well.
terrifying.
it is preying on like that very human need to like we do want to protect the child. Like if
Yeah.
like I can't believe I'm bringing this up, but Cuties, for example, on Netflix.
Oh,
Netflix.
yeah.
Like-
I really don't want to watch that film.
If it
It'll
was
just-
grown-ups, like 18-plus-year-olds, I really wouldn't care less. But because
Yeah.
it's kids, I feel like that is my line. Like
Yeah.
I have watched stuff that makes Hostel look like Sesame Street, and
Yeah.
Cuties is where I draw the line. You know?
Yeah. I mean, there's like in JoJo Part 1, I think there's a bit where.
Oh my God, JoJo's.
Yeah. There's a bit. I don't know what it is. The guy who made JoJo just really likes being horrible to women, kids, and animals. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Oh, are you talking about Dio kicking the
Yeah.
dog? Literally.
I remember when I saw that, I was like, I hate this character on principle. He kicked a dog. But
I mean-
then, like,
Job
as it
done.
goes-
That is the point.
yeah.
True.
As it goes on, then there's a case of he's trapped a mother and a child, and the mother's like, I'll let you turn me into a vampire, just leave my kid alone. And he goes, sure, okay. Turns her into a vampire and leaves her to eat her own baby. And I was just like,
Ah,
ugh, that's horrible. I'm grossed out, and I feel sick. I need to, like, I was literally like, I need to stop watching. I need to come back later. And Ryan was like, that's fair.
JoJo's is amazing.
It's so good. Just, I don't think
Oh.
I'll be watching that episode ever again.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, kids horror films, very, very, very sensitive.
Yeah.
there's always the
Also-
creepy kid as well.
Yeah. What is it with like films and creepy little girls? Like little boys, you're kind of like, oh no, don't kill a little boy. Little girls, you're just like, oh my god, she's so creepy. Like the ones in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Yeah, you're just
Ah.
like, whoa.
Or even the
Shining
twins
from
from
the
The Shining.
Shining.
Exactly,
Oh.
David, literally. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because like it is a horror setting, and
Yeah.
because it's a little girl, I think what it implies, like from a cultural perspective, like little girls are like, oh, innocent, needs to be protected and stuff like that from like a historical point of view, and the fact
Yeah.
that they are the ones posing the threat just kind of makes it very unnerving.
Yeah, it's very
Maybe.
twisted from what our normal expectations are.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, lovely.
Mm-hmm. And we enjoy watching this kind of stuff.
Oh
Humans
yeah,
are weird.
absolutely. Yeah, like I would recommend some things, but I simultaneously don't want to because, like, I remember one time I recommended a friend, a quote unquote friend, we'll see, but a film for him to watch, and it was like, oh, I can take it, you know, like give me the worst
Oh.
thing you've got, and I'm like, oh honey,
Yeah.
don't tempt me. And then I gave him like the third or fourth worst thing on my list, and he was like, no, I need a shower. And I'm like, oh honey, you're not ready for the worst.
Well, you know, in that case, like, you could be like, well, you know, the film is bad. I'm warning you, there are bad things in this film. It's your choice to watch it.
Yeah, like I think the one I recommended was the Japanese film Grotesque from like 2011. Like it's
Oh.
literally 70 minutes long, but 60 minutes is just a doctor torturing a couple. That's
Lovely.
it. And like, oh, like you literally get to see him cut pieces off them and feed them to each other, and it's like, ew, no.
Yum. Yeah, see, for me, I'd just be like, I'm not really that. I don't get anything out of watching that except feeling sick. So I'd just be like, I'll just give that one a miss.
Yeah,
I feel as though it depends on the person.
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I can sit through the Saw movies, no problem, but I don't know. I think there's levels. Like Human Centipede was just something I was like, I'm done. I cannot. It's just gross. It's not even scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Human Centipede was very much trying to do one thing, and I
Yeah.
think it did accomplish it. Whereas with Saw, bringing it back to James Wan, actually, the first Saw film was legitimately a good film.
I liked it.
It's just that as the sequels went on and we got more and more Saw films, then
How
the
many
more
are there?
There's a
wasn't there
lot.
like
7?
I want to say 7, but
I think maybe 8.
are we
Now that I think
including
about it.
Spiral?
Oh, I forgot Spiral was a
I
thing.
think Spiral might be 9. Like I feel
9
as though
then,
there was.
yeah.
I feel as though there was a Saw 7. Then they made Jigsaw, and now they're
Yeah.
making
There's Saw,
Spiral.
There's so
Saw
many.
3D as well, wasn't there? Let me check.
Yeah. I just remember there being like a Saw movie released literally every year, and it was just like, oh,
I think that was the case.
they've met the
6,
Saw
7, 8.
quota this year. That's what it felt like.
Spiral is the 9th.
Ooh.
There's 9 Saw movies. Okay.
Yeah,
Am
like,
I right in thinking that film stars Chris Rock
And he's producing
Samuel L.
it.
Jackson?
yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
really? Fair enough.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the only Saw film I haven't watched is Saw the Final Chapter. But as they were going on, it was very much like, okay, clearly you do not care about the story. You just want to
Yeah.
show the gore and the torture, which, fair play, I'll still watch it because, oh god, what's his face from Gilmore Girls was in it? The guy who runs the cafe.
Oh, Luke. Yeah.
Luke, yes. Luke was the main detective for like 2 or 3 films, and I was like, I'm down for this.
I forgot he was in that.
So I watched it for him, and I was like, oh, you just don't care about the story at all, do you? It's like, fine, whatever. 2 wasn't too bad with Donnie Wahlberg, but even then it was a massive step down from the first
Yeah.
one.
Oh my god, the final one tries to retie with the first movie again, and I'm just like, you've made too many more films that have contradicted themselves to try and pull this crap.
It was all Jigsaw all along.
No, it was like, oh, a character from the first movie lived, and I was just like, oh, come on.
Yeah,
I was like, it would have maybe worked if you'd done it, I don't know, maybe the 5th film, that might have worked, but I was just like, at this point you're on film, I don't know, I think the final chapter was like film 7, and I'm just like,
it was 7, yeah.
at this point,
It
like,
wasn't
people
very
aren't gonna
final.
remember. Yeah.
It wasn't. It's like Friday the 13th, the final chapter. It was the 4th film in a 10 film series.
Yeah. Or the Final Destination movie where it was called The Final Destination and then they made more afterwards and it
Final
was just
Destination 5 was the last one, so
like, yeah.
and it was the
And
4th
then-
film.
Yeah. And then they tried to tie that one in with the first film and I was just like, what are you doing?
Do you know what though? Like that was one of the few times where I was like, do you know what? That twist worked for me.
It did actually tie in pretty well.
Like
I will
as
give
far
it
as
that.
tying it into the first film goes, Final Destination shockingly has one of the better ones.
Yeah. I actually really enjoy those movies. Like they're so terrible, but I don't know. I'm like, I
At
love
no
them.
point did they try to be anything more than they
No.
were.
Yeah, I feel like that's what's so great about them. They do not take themselves seriously, and you just kind of there are certain times where you just laugh because
Yeah.
it's just like there is no way that would happen.
And plus, you got Candyman playing the Grim Reaper, so it's like,
Oh,
oh, hell
yeah.
yeah.
Tony Todd.
Yeah,
He's so good. He's
Nice.
just so good at being creepy. I love him in Candyman.
he is literally the Grim Reaper in all the Final Destination
Yes.
films, and I'm like, yes, please.
I love Tony Todd. I remember
So good.
I remember he voiced the main villain of the 2nd season of The Flash. He voiced
Oh.
Zoom, and I was
Nice.
like, you know what? I really like Tony Todd voicing this villain.
Oh, God, yeah. So,
Doesn't
okay.
he also voice Darkseid in a bunch of like animated films?
I would have to
Really?
double check. Let me just quickly have a go.
I
I'd
have to.
happily have him as a live action Darkseid.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, we
have a
got
bit-
Kieran Hines as Steppenwolf, so
True.
I have a bit of fun trivia for you. You know Freddy Krueger? Well, you know like Nightmare on Elm Street.
yeah.
Yeah.
Disney tried to pick it up and tried to convince him to turn it into a Disney movie. So like,
Wait,
Night-
what?
yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street nearly ended up being a Disney movie. I'm just like, wow, that would be
Do you
an
know what?
interesting timeline.
That to go back to it, yes, he was Darkseid in Justice League animated stuff. Also,
Oh, wow.
like as far as Nightmare on Elm Street being a Disney film, like Disney did have the Buena Vista distribution company, and they did The Rock with Michael Bay. So
Oh,
classic Disney, I wouldn't have been surprised that they want to pick it up, but modern Disney, I'd be very sus.
yeah. Modern Disney be like, I don't know.
Like,
I don't know about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like if we're talking like around the time when, well, this is even before then, but yeah, I'm constantly surprised that The Rock with Sean Connery is a Disney film technically.
Yeah. It's
Oh, what a
weird.
film.
But yeah, I think you're probably right then, because it was like before he'd even finished like writing it, and that was like what I think it's an 80s movie, or is
Yeah,
it
Nightmare on Elm Street is like
70s?
84 or 85.
Yeah, so like it would have been around the time, so it might have been just Buena Vista. But when I read that, I was just like, that's just funny.
84, yeah. And plus, Johnny Depp's first film ever.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in that. He turned into a big giant fountain of blood.
Oh my god, yes.
Good
That's
times.
literally my favorite death scene in any
It's
horror
so-
film.
They're so inventive.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
always like interesting deaths in the series.
So here's a question for you guys. Which would you rather watch? Nightmare or Friday?
Nightmare. As soon like when I watched the first Friday the 13th movie with my brother, we just sat there laughing our asses off. So I think definitely Nightmare on Elm Street.
Like,
Right, so I have never seen either Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th, but I know exactly which one I'm more interested in watching, and it's Nightmare on Elm Street. The whole idea of
Cool.
like this killer in your dreams, like
Yeah.
it's just terrifying in a way, and I love the sign of Freddy as well, so I'd probably go Nightmare on Elm Street. It's the one where if you made me pick between the two, I'd go Nightmare.
see, if I want to have fun, I'd go with Friday because it's a lot more
Fair.
fun. But if I want to be properly terrified, I'd watch one of the first two Nightmare films.
Yeah.
Because if I'm talking fun factor, like Freddy, like Nightmare 3, 4, and 5 are more comedies than they
Yeah.
are horror films. So if I'm,
On,
oh, go on.
sorry, I was gonna say, if I'm honest, like I remember finding the first one kind of funny in some places because there's a bit where he's running after a girl and his legs are just doing this weird like wavy thing, and I'm just like, is he doing? And I just started laughing when I watched it.
Like, see, that's the thing. Like the first Friday Nightmare. I mean, like there are those campy bits where you think, oh, Freddy's just having fun with these kids now, but at the same time, you got that scene
Yeah.
like in the school when what's her face has been deprived of sleep for a while, and she sees her friend in a body bag next to her.
Oh god, yeah.
Like that
is
scene comes
terrifying.
up, and I'm like, okay, like that's one of the most
yeah.
memorable scenes in the film for me, next to Johnny's death. But
I think it's. Sorry,
on.
I think it's just a really good mixture of comedy and horror, like in the same place, and it's like this shouldn't work, but it does.
yeah, absolutely. And I think the second one goes more for the horror aspect, because I remember
Yeah.
being more terrified at the second one, but I had a lot more fun with all of the others. So,
Oh, yeah.
whereas if I want to just have fun, pure, I just watch any of the Friday films in any
yeah.
order.
They're just totally fun to just sit there and like have a drink with a friend and
You're
just
there
like,
for the
laugh
body
at
count.
it. Yeah, you're just there like
Completely in the
you're gonna
background.
die.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
just
Yeah.
having this wholesome conversation with your friend, and then you turn to look at your screen, and then you've got
Jason.
Jason.
just killing someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Um,
impaling Kevin Bacon on a door or something.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just sitting there watching it like, yeah, people are gonna die and I'm gonna laugh at it and it's gonna be great. And then
I
the
mean, 'cause-
sequels like when they introduce the titles, there's explosions in the
Oh,
titles,
Are
God,
and
you
it's
yes.
serious?
wonderful. Yes,
Oh,
it's
hell yeah.
hilarious.
God.
And plus,
It's so good.
I need to see this.
You do, you really do.
I mean,
go on, David.
I was just gonna say, if you were ever in doubt about which one to pick, you can always make a compromise.
Yeah.
And watch Freddy versus Jason.
Do you know
That's
what?
true.
I like that film. No joke, I like that film. Like, it's not good, but I like it. And plus, like, you can, if you want a sci-fi film in the horror series, there's always Jason X.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh my god, I always forget that thing exists.
A
Like
masterpiece
in
of cinema.
space. Oh dear.
Once again, I've got to preface: I've never seen any of those films, but if I've heard of any of them, it's Jason X.
Oh, hells yeah. A masterpiece of cinema, to be
Yeah.
honest. But, go on.
I was gonna say, either way, whichever film you pick to watch, you will have a good time with them. They're just goofy, some of them.
Isn't the one where he goes to Manhattan as well?
Yeah, Jason Goes to Manhattan, that's literally
Yep.
the name.
Oh my god.
It's like Made in Manhattan, but it's Jason Goes to Manhattan.
You know what? I think I'm just gonna dedicate my Halloween to watching this franchise.
It's a ride.
Do it.
Because, like, the first Friday is legitimately, like, kind of interesting in how it is set up and the twist at the end. But then 2 onwards, you're just like, I'm here for the kills, dude.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like Fast and the Furious in the sense that
In a weird way, yes.
You're constantly looking for what they're going to do next.
See, the thing
I
is...
think you're more like, how's he gonna kill them this time? Like, what's he gonna kill them with? Because it's always something different.
I'd say they are similar, but I would say that Friday had the balls to go to space.
Hey, we're getting a movie where Tom Cruise is literally going into space.
Yeah, but that's not a Fast and the Furious film, though.
I know, but I don't doubt that they will do it once they reach 10.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh, maybe.
It's like Ethan Hunt in space. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Something we have not spoken about yet. Alien.
Oh, that's a good point,
True.
actually. Yeah, I love that film.
Oh yeah. Okay, Alien or Aliens?
Alien.
See, I go with Aliens because I just love the bombast, but if I was going for a horror film, I'd absolutely pick Alien.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, Aliens has Bill Paxton, so it's like
And Michael
an
Biehn.
immediate win.
True.
And Michael Biehn, yeah.
Also, you got the iconic line, "Get away from her, you bitch."
Oh,
Such a
yeah.
great
So
moment.
yeah, such a good moment. And
then-
also, I think
sorry.
I was like, and I think in the movie Paul they reference it.
Oh,
and
God,
Sigourney
yeah.
Weaver
They
gets
do.
smushed.
They do.
Man, I forgot about Paul. I haven't seen that film in 10 years, give or take.
It's probably about the same for me.
9. I think it came out in 2011, so 9
Okay, so nine years. Fair.
9 years. It's funny. I remember when I was at high school, the people in my class all thought that Paul was the 3rd movie in the Cornetto trilogy.
Oh no.
It's got a lot of the same people, doesn't it? So
Yeah,
It
that makes
does.
sense.
So I'd seen Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz at that point, but I remember watching the trailers to Paul, and I was like, this feels completely different. Like I didn't know that they were made by separate people, but I was just like, this feels different to the others.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the world does have aliens in it.
That's true.
this is true, yeah. And how do you guys feel about, well, the other side of the alien, the Predator?
Oh, I like Predator. It's an
First
interesting.
one's a good one.
Yeah, I can't remember the other ones, but I do remember the first one. Doesn't it have Donald Glover in it?
The second one does.
Oh, okay, yeah. I like the first two.
Well,
then.
Danny Glover, just in case anyone
Oh,
is
yeah,
confused
oops.
about
My bad.
Childish Gambino. Just Childish Gambino as a toddler in Predator 2.
You know what? I'd love to see Donald Glover in a Predator movie.
Just for the giggles.
Yeah, just
Exactly.
for the lulz.
But yeah, it was just a really as far as action film goes, like if I had to pick between Aliens or Predator, I'd probably pick Predator because like it's got the typical 80s action tropes going, but then it just
That's true.
completely subverts everything halfway through, and it's like, oh yeah, this isn't like a mission in Vietnam. You guys are fighting for your life against an alien. Good luck. Go.
Yeah. Have fun. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably go with Aliens between Aliens and Predator. There's just I don't know. I feel as though I've got some kind of disconnect with Predator. Like it's just not my franchise. Like I enjoy it. I enjoy the first one, and I enjoy bits of Predator 2 and Predators. But
And then the Predator is just a train wreck, so
it's
let's not
garbage.
bring it up. Yeah, Jesus, yeah. And then Alien versus Predator, the best of them all.
Yeah.
Which
I
one?
actually enjoyed I didn't watch the second one, but the first one I was like, okay.
The second one was absolutely garbage, but
Okay, fair.
the first one, do you know what? When they actually start killing people, the first Alien versus Predator, not bad. But you just have to go through like 30 minutes of people stuff until you get to the Alien versus Predator.
Very true. Okay, I have a question. What's the worst horror movie you've seen? Like, just really not scary or just badly executed or whatever?
Ooh, I
get
mean,
off
we
my
already spoke about the
letterbox.
nuns, so I have to pick something else.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a few, I'm sure. I just need to think of them. Did you have something in mind, Amy, when you asked, or were you just curious?
Yeah, I did. I remember I watched a film like a couple of years ago. I think I was still in high school when I watched it, but it's called Triangle, and it is so
Oh
bad.
my god, okay. Is this the one where the girl is on the ship and she just goes round and round?
Yes,
Oh my god, what a film. It's so bad.
it's awful. I'm so annoyed. Like I watched that in the cinema, and I was like,
Oh my god.
why you took my money from me? My friend was like, we should go see this. It looks good. As soon as we watched it, we were like, what the fuck? It was a choice between Triangle or Paranormal Activity because I don't know. I just have those films just irritate me. I don't know what it is.
That's fair. They're definitely not for everyone, but they did make like 6 sequels, so maybe a lot of people like them. Plus, they were cheap to make.
True.
How about you, Dylan?
Do you know what? The first film, like this isn't the worst, but the first film that came to mind was It Comes at Night by A24, which kind of sucks because I like
I
A24.
remember that one.
The one with Uncle Owen in it.
Joel Edgerton.
Joel
yeah,
Edgerton, yeah.
Riley Keough is in it as well.
Like, of all the characters that Joel Edgerton has played, I went with his cameo in Star Wars. Like, Uncle Owen, what was his name? Jane Got a Gun. That's not a bad film, actually. It's not good, but it's not bad. But, not a horror film. But, yeah, that it comes at night was such a wet fart. You know. Oh! A film that annoyed me. Bird Box. What a waste. Jesus.
I still haven't watched Bird Box. I
Crap.
just literally got like memes from it.
It is
That's all I know of it.
utter garbage.
Okay.
Like, Bird Box was so bad. Like, there are so many things that just shouldn't work in that film, but does, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, oh no, just no.
I think I remember why I don't like Paranormal Activity now because I watched Wreck and it did found footage movies so much better, and I was
Wreck
just
was
like,
incredible.
And then when I saw Paranormal Activity, I was just like, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, Wreck was phenomenal. It's one of the few found footage zombie films that I actually do like.
Yeah. I was pregnant when I watched that.
Oh,
And
lovely.
I was like, I probably shouldn't be watching a horror movie, but
I mean,
Let's go.
wait, okay, this is just because I'm a guy, but would watching a horror film affect your pregnancy legitimately?
if like, cause at the time I was quite heavily pregnant and basically ready to drop, it was, if it had scared me enough, it could have scared me into labor, but
Okay.
I don't know, I highly doubt it, to be honest, because Mikey was stubborn and just didn't want to come out, so I was like, I don't think that would have even done anything. I think it'd have been like, oh, she's scared, oh well, I'll just chill in here a bit longer.
Fair enough.
I think for me, on the worst horror movie that I've seen, it's probably The House at the End of the Street, starring Jennifer Lawrence.
What an unmemorable wet fart.
I have that on my
It
watch
certainly
list.
was.
My god, what a waste.
It was not good in the slightest.
Like,
Elizabeth Shue is in that movie as well.
Oh.
that was just a film riding on the hype of the Hunger Games.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
It was shot before the Hunger Games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember.
I
It came out
think
after the Hunger Games. I know that much.
Yeah, I think it was kind of like The Cabin in the Woods in this sense, because I believe The Cabin in the Woods was shot before 4.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
I
was
enjoy
it-
that movie. It's so good.
Was it before Thor or before Avengers?
It was
It
before.
was definitely before Avengers, but
Yeah.
I believe it was shot before 4.
I
And
think
then
it
just
was.
got delayed or something, and then once 4 was a hit, it was like, oh, Chris Hemsworth's in our film, we've got to put that
Yeah.
out. And obviously, Cabin in the Woods, great movie. House at the End of the Street, not so much.
Definitely not. I actually haven't seen House at the End of the Street, but I think I'll just give it a miss. Like, I had it there on my, because I'm watching movies for Halloween. I think I'll just give that one a miss.
It's pretty bad, and it's got a very bad plot twist.
Oh my
Cool.
god, that was
Okay.
yeah. Oh, another bad horror film, The Boy, with
Oh.
Walking Dead girl in it.
Lauren Cohen.
Yes,
Yeah, Lauren Cohen.
Yeah, I watched half of that movie, so I didn't even finish it.
Yeah. Oh my, they made a sequel this year as well. Didn't bother.
No.
But yes, Thor was after Cabin in the Woods in terms of filming. I just checked.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. But yeah, do you know what's actually funny about The Boy? There is I want to say 70s film called Bad Ronald, and it's basically the plot of The Boys, but done better. And like half the runtime.
Cool. I have another question. Sorry, I keep asking you guys questions.
Oh,
Like,
please
feel
do.
free
Save
to be
some.
like, shush.
No,
No,
please
keep
do.
them
It
coming,
saves me the
keep
trouble of
questions
thinking
coming.
of them.
Cool. I don't know. I guess it's just horror. It just gets my brain going.
What is that question?
Oh yeah. The question is, what's a horror movie that actually scared you, like actively frightened you?
Ooh. Okay, I've got one.
Oh, go on.
I don't know whether you could class it as a horror. I guess it's more of a thriller.
Oh my god, it was Sesame Street, wasn't it?
How did you know?
The Banana Split movie.
Ah!
But it's actually The Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, that's
Oh.
fair.
That's a fair one. And to be honest, that could very well veer into horror territory when Hannibal Lecter gets loose.
That's absolutely true, and it's actually part of the reason why I was including it on this list.
Yep.
I was just so on the edge of my seat the entire time that I was watching the film. Like, even from the moment that it starts, just the way that the film is set up,
Yeah.
it just completely unsettled me from beginning to end. And, Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter, deserves all the praise that he gets.
Oh yeah.
He's just incredible in that movie. Yeah, that's the first thing that immediately popped into my head. Maybe there's another film, but that
Yeah.
was easily the most immediate to my head.
Okay, I mean that is absolutely a good shout though. Like Silence of the Lambs is phenomenal.
Yep.
But I would say we already spoke about The Shining, and I watched The Shining when I was like 11 or 12. But when I was older, I watched a little film called The Changeling, and I may have brought it up to you guys at one point or another.
Yeah, it
It's
sounds familiar.
yeah, it's a 1980s film, 1980 literally, and it stars George C. Scott. You know, before he was in The Rescuers Down Under.
Oh,
But just in case you
Yeah.
want to know. But yeah, that was a film where literally George C. Scott loses his family and moves into a new house, and the house is haunted. And it turns out that the previous owner of the house actually kept his son in like a disappointments room, if you know what that is. Which is
Don't think so.
okay. So back in the olden days, whenever you got a kid that's slow or disfigured, you'd lock them up in a room, and that's called the disappointments room.
Oh,
It's not practiced anymore, I hope.
definitely. Wow, that's just grim.
that's horrible.
I'm pretty sure Kate Beckinsale was in a film called The Disappointments Room as well. I never watched it,
Oh,
That does sound familiar, actually.
but yeah. But yeah, this kid was locked up in this disappointments room and died in said room. But the spirit was still there, and George C. Scott just goes on this detective mission, just trying to figure out what happened so that he can set the spirit free. And not a single drop of blood in it or anything. It's just pure tension and suspense, and it just does it
yeah.
so well. Like that is after The Shining, that is the last film that properly got me consistently.
Very nice.
Nice.
I guess.
I have a couple.
Oh my, go for it.
Well, the first one is a film called Dead Silence.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I think I think the reason it terrified me so much is just because it plays on like she's got like a ventriloquist dummy, and she's a really creepy, evil-looking old woman, and that just I don't know what it is, but that just creeped me the heck out. And the
Old women
fact
and
that
dolls, man. That's all you need.
yeah. And just the fact that like she gets more and more disfigured and gross and scary, and like you can't scream because if you scream then she kills you. And I think just the tension of having the main character, because he's always put in situations with her, and it's like she does her best to make you scream obviously, and like it's just every time this character's like trying really hard not to scream, and I'm just like, oh no, that's just it creeped me the heck out. I had nightmares and everything after I watched that film.
Do you know what? Like
So creepy.
speaking of Dead Silence, the doll from Dead Silence, and this made me laugh throughout quite a bit of Toy Story 4. Like Gabby Gabby's minions totally reminds me of the Dead Silence doll, and I'm like
I can absolutely see what you
I
mean.
can see it.
and I'm like, oh my god, Toy Story, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You see, what the dolls reminded me of in Toy Story 4 was actually Goosebumps.
Oh yeah, Goosebumps, yeah. You and
Oh,
I have
nice.
a completely different mindset over there, but yeah, I can definitely see that as
Yeah.
well.
I grew up with Goosebumps.
Oh, fair.
Like I watched the 90s show when I was like really little, and it just stuck with me.
Oh, do you know what? Like, I grew up reading a couple of the books, but the one Goosebumps story that really stayed with me, and I'll see if I can find it. It involved this monster during Halloween, where if you thought about it, it would come to life, and it's got two heads. One eats flesh, and the other eats blood. And I can't remember the name of it, but it was a really cool idea, and that's the one Goosebumps story that's always stayed with me. I'll look up the name now while the two of you speak amongst each other.
Cool. Well, my other horror movie pick that scared me is called Mirrors.
I love
Okay.
mirrors.
It terrified me. Like, I kid you not. I think I was like 15 when I saw it. But yeah, it unnerved me. Like, it had me double checking my mirrors and everything before I went to bed, and checking there wasn't anything under my bed. And I had a nightmare that
The sister's death in the bathroom.
yeah, I had a nightmare
God.
that happened to me. Like, I literally wouldn't take baths for like a week. I was like, I'm just gonna get a shower and jump right out real quick, and then I don't have to look at the mirror.
Like, by chance, did you watch the sequel to Mirrors?
Yeah, and it was not very good.
It was garboid.
It was terrible.
My God, it was bad. But yeah, Kiefer Sutherland, when he was still doing films. Yeah.
He was really good in that movie.
Yeah, I really liked that film. And also, the Goosebumps story I was thinking of was The Haunting Hour. Don't think about it.
Ooh.
Yes, and it had Tobin Bell in it, a Soul reference.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, he was the guy that sells the monster to the kid, I think. So, yeah. Good old Tobin Bell. Jigsaw doing the Lord's work, I see. But,
Okay, I've
yeah?
got a question for you guys.
Oh my.
What is one horror movie that you feel is overrated?
Oh.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure. I really have to think about it because, like, we've spoken about quite a lot of the horror films already, and we mostly have a very positive take on them.
Yeah.
True.
The Happening, maybe.
I'm gonna say Paranormal
Overrated?
Activity because like loads of people. Wait, are we talking overrated or underrated? I'm getting slightly confused.
Overrated. I was confused by The Happening.
Overrated because I think my brain's just not remembering what overrated means. That's where it's not as good as it is.
It's like people think it's better than it might actually be, and
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna stick with Paranormal Activity because a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, it's so scary," and I watched it and I'm like, "Is it though?"
I have the same reaction as you do for my pick, but first I want to know, Dylan.
I'm having a hard time thinking of one that I think is overrated, to be honest.
Oh,
Because
thank God! So The Happening wasn't yours.
no, The Happening is the best comedy. It's better than any comedy Will Ferrell has done, in my opinion.
I was gonna
Oh, no.
say, like, I'm pretty sure people don't like that film.
I do like it, but not for the reason Shyamalan wants it to be.
Yeah.
While you think of the film that you think is overrated, I have to say this: I do not like the Blair Witch Project
Fair
at
enough.
all.
God, I don't like it either. I don't get why everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's the best thing ever." I'm like, dude, literally nothing happens. Some rocks move.
I was shown it in film studies when I was at sixth form, and I just sat there the entire time, just bored out of my mind, hating the shaky cam,
Yep.
hating the screaming in the film as well. It felt like a film that was designed specifically to annoy me and just completely I'm forgetting words. Just completely override my senses, overwhelm my senses. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, the Blair Witch Project. I really don't get the hype.
Oh, I agree with you on that one. Just like, I just don't get it. I was like, am I just like not on the right intellectual level with this film or what? But whatever, I'm not scared of it.
I am literally drawing a blank right now.
Fair enough.
Oh, This is annoying me now.
Well, if we keep talking, maybe it will come to you eventually. If you
Something
guys
will
want to
come.
keep talking.
Oh yeah, like we're on a bit of a roll.
Yeah. I'm enjoying talking about horror.
It's a fun topic.
And also, it is spooky month, so it's kind of perfect.
Oh
Very
my.
true.
Um,
Is there a horror film that you guys were surprised at how much you liked it?
Hmm. Yeah, there's probably one out there. I'm just trying to think.
I shockingly, I'd actually volunteer here.
Go ahead.
I watched a film like way back, called The Cell, done by Tarsum Singh,
Oh, okay.
and that's got J Lo, William H Macy, and Vince Vaughn in it.
Oh, I think I've watched this film.
And-
It sounds very familiar.
Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio plays a serial killer, of course. And literally, Jennifer Lopez goes into Vincent D'Onofrio's head, and a lot of the film is just literally seeing like physical embodiments of his thoughts in reality, and it's just insane. Like visually, it's one of the most stunning films I've probably ever seen.
Nice. I actually have thought of a pick. It's a film called The Perfectionist.
Why
Don't
does
know if
that
you guys
sound
have-
so familiar?
It's on Netflix. And bleh. I can't remember the name of the actresses who star in it, but one of them's in Dear White People as well. If you've
Okay.
heard of that, yeah. But yeah, basically I wasn't expecting to like it because from the trailer completely misleads you as to what the story is actually about, and then when you actually get to the film, you're like, "Oh my god, I wasn't expecting that," and I just I haven't had a film do that to me in a while.
Very nice.
Interesting.
I'm not gonna explain the film because it kind of ruins what I'm talking about with the trailer. So
Oh no.
if you guys are interested, I'd say go watch the trailer, then watch the film.
Sounds good.
Sweet.
I think my pick for that one would be the 2011 remake of Fright Night. With Anton Yelchin, Colin Farrell,
I really like that Fright Night, to be honest.
Imogen Poots,
I remember enjoying it.
David Tennant, and Toni Collette. I had so much fun with that film. Like just the way that it blends horror and comedy it was just really hilarious, and I've never actually seen the original, so I can't really comment on that film. But in terms of my enjoyment of the remake, I had a blast, especially with just Anton Yelchin, just his discovery of Colin Farrell as this vampire and him trying to protect his mum and his girlfriend, and fighting off the vampires that ensue. Like, I just thought that it was super cool, and Colin Farrell just gives this really charismatic performance in the film. I forget what his character is actually called. I know it's not something like that you'd expect from a vampire.
It was something really mundane, like Steve or something. Jerry, that's it.
Jerry
Jerry
the
the
vampire. Exactly. And then you've got like David Tennant playing this complete diva.
Oh god, yeah.
It's just such a fun film. I'd highly recommend it. In fact, that is my recommendation for this week.
Cool.
Fright Night.
Nice.
Okay, so did you guys see the original 1980s Fright Night?
I did not know.
I have not seen it, no.
It is pretty fun, and it is directed
Cool.
by Tom Holland. The
Oh,
same guy
really?
who directed
Spider-Man?
literally. No, just the same name.
I'm kidding. I know. I was just kidding.
He also directed the very first Chucky film.
Oh,
Oh,
Chucky.
cool.
Yeah, so
Ugh.
there's one for you. Oh, overrated film.
Chucky?
This is something I enjoyed watching it in the cinemas, but the more I think about it, the more it just kind of falls apart because of, logic. And that's A Quiet Place.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that either yet.
I'd say watch it because it is a really fun film. But
Oh, I plan to.
the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, so you guys have found this really interesting way of actually getting past these alien beasties things, and yet instead of living closer to these noise dampening places, you are out in the middle of nowhere with all the noise, and I'm like, dudes, like it's like you want to be killed, like. And then the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, guys, like if you guys just thought about things, I'm sure you could have survived this. So
I feel like that's really annoying because they're supposed to have survived for like years at this point, aren't they?
yeah, and it's like they've shown how they can get around the noise part. Like, there's this one. Well, there's this one part involving a waterfall, and I'm immediately like, why not live closer to here? There's water, there's noise, there's plenty of why? What's going on here, film? Your characters aren't making sense, dude. So, A Quiet Place would be my overrated film.
Fair enough.
Underrated, Vampire Hunt, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. What
I
a
love
I've
that
never
film.
seen it.
it is
Oh.
a gem of a film.
It is fun time.
And plus
It's
it's
just
got
completely insane.
Linkin Park as its soundtrack, which is always good.
Of
It-
course it is.
It's one of those films that I just hear bad things about it. So
Look,
I,
if you're going for an Oscar caliber film like Lincoln, you're not gonna
Yeah.
get it. But if you're looking
No.
for fun, because it's done by the same guy who did Wanted, so it is very fun.
Yeah, it is just really fun and dumb, and it's just Abraham Lincoln beating the hell out of a bunch of vampires.
Yeah.
Like,
And plus, like Marcus Cosas, what's his face? The main baddie from Triple X is in it,
oh,
and
that
the
guy.
Equalizer.
and the Equalizer, and
Yep.
plus Anthony Mackie is also in it. So
Falcon.
yeah, Falcon's in it, and plus
Speaking,
Mary Elizabeth Winstead, which is always a win.
well, I'm always down for any film she's in because she's great.
She is.
Yeah. And just going back to, because we were talking about a vampire film, that just reminded me of what I want to recommend.
Oh,
Okay.
awesome. Go ahead.
It's a film called 30 Days of Night.
Oh yes.
It's set in, I can't remember where it is, but it's set in a part of the world where literally it goes dark
It's like
for 30 days.
Greenland or Alaska or something like that, isn't
I think
it?
it's Alaska, and yeah, it's set in like there for 30 days, and obviously that's a perfect time for vampires to be like, I'm gonna get my feet on.
Oh, it's like
really
that Black Eyed Peas song. It's like Get My Feet Down.
Yeah,
No, Missy Elliott. That's who it was, not Black Eyed Peas.
get my feet on. Yep. Yeah, that film was just, I was just like, that's a really creative way of using vampires, because
Yeah.
obviously they don't have to hide. They can just be like, what up? At like 10 o'clock in the morning, like, what up, you gonna be my breakfast?
You know what's a really cool vampire film? Daybreakers with Ethan
Yes.
Hawke.
That's
I've
a really
never
good
seen
one
it.
too.
I've heard it's good though.
It's a
It's
very
very
interesting
good.
film. Yeah.
It's like basically if vampires were society and humans had to hide, because obviously, you know, it's always like the vampires have to hide in the shadows and stuff. In Daybreakers, they're the society. It's just a society of vampires, and they have an issue with keeping the blood supply going, and like so any humans basically just get captured and kind of treated like cows.
Essentially.
Kind of.
That's Daybreakers for you.
It kind of reminds me of there's this episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where one of the characters basically wishes that I think it's that Buffy had never went to Sunnydale, and so their whole reality changes and the vampires have won and they've taken over.
Oh.
And although obviously the vampires can't go out during the day, it's as though the humans have got a curfew. And so if you're out When it's nighttime, obviously, you're there for the taking. It kind of reminds me of that.
Ooh, interesting. I still haven't watched Buffy all the way through. I've seen
No,
bits
me
and
neither.
bobs here and there.
It's a
I'm
good
literally
show.
still somewhat going through the first season because I never got to watch it when it was actually airing. So
It's a
I
good
just have
show.
a
I should
bunch
have
of
ended it.
shows.
Sorry.
Oh, I was done talking. I was just saying I've been watching a bunch of shows and then, yeah, you carry on.
It's definitely a really good show to watch. So it's a lot of fun. I will say this though, I feel as though it should have ended at season 5.
Okay.
There's just something. There's something special about the season 5 finale that I think the show never really quite reached past that point, except for like some individual episodes. But yeah, that's just a minor point.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Whew. My recommendation is go watch The Changeling. More people should see it. Just do
Cool.
it.
Put that on the list.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
gone on my Halloween to watch list.
Just in case, there is a 2009 Clint Eastwood Angelina Jolie film called Changeling as well. Very different film.
Yeah.
Would you recommend that?
I would actually, because it's based on true events in early 1920s America, and it is very interesting.
Oh,
Okay,
I just thought of another film that would be a really good recommendation. It's called The Bone Collector, and that's got
Oh my
Angelina Jolie in
god!
it.
Yes, with
How good is that movie?
Oh my god, I haven't seen that in years, but my god, I love that film.
So good. David, if you haven't seen it, I think you'd really like it because it's like it's a detective movie essentially.
Yeah,
Ah,
and
my
Denzel Washington and Angelina Jolie just insulting each other for an hour and a half.
It's great.
Not gonna lie, that sounds kind of amazing.
It is a really good film.
Yeah, oh man, I haven't thought about The Bone Collector in so long. Oh, here's one. Ghost Ship.
Oh yeah, isn't that the one where like everyone gets decapitated at the start?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds like a very short film.
Yeah,
That's
it's
like the one scary part in it, I think.
like it's a really fun film because it's got Carl Urban, it's got Emily Browning,
Legend.
it's got Gabriel Byrne in it. Like there's a stellar cast in that film. But yeah, it starts with a bang and then just kind of stays at middling, and Carl Urban is doing his darndest.
Can we just take a moment to say Carl Urban is just incredible.
Yeah.
He's just an amazing actor. I love him as Billy Butcher on The Boys.
He'll always be Airmare for me.
I feel as though Carl Urban is one of those actors who he just shows up and just puts in the work, and everyone will smile for it.
Yeah.
Like whether it's his role in The Bourne Supremacy, Lord of the Rings, Thor Ragnarok, Pete's Dragon.
Oh my
God,
god.
he was in Pete's Dragon.
Oh, that is something.
Oh, I forgot he's in Dread as well.
He is phenomenal as Dredd.
Dread is so good.
I haven't seen that in so long.
Oh, so good. But yeah, like that is another thing I would actually recommend. Seeing as we're talking about Dredd, the producer of Dredd, Adi Shankar, is also the lead producer on the Netflix Castlevania, which I recommend.
It's very good. I'm still going through season 3 very slowly. I'll get there.
Yeah,
I
like
forget, but isn't it Richard Armitage who
It is.
voices the main vampire?
Trevor. No, not the main vampire. The main vampire hunter. Trevor
okay.
Belmont.
Oh, it's got oh, what's his name? He gets introduced in season 3, and I think he plays. I think in Shaun of the Dead he plays like the mum's husband.
Oh,
Um,
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye, yeah, he's in it as well, isn't he? As one of the characters' voices.
Yeah, like there's a shocking amount of people in that Castlevania, quote unquote anime. It is so good.
Yeah, I really like it.
I mean, seeing as Konami's not giving us any games, we may as well,
Yeah.
take in the good anime.
I just can't get over how good it is. Like, I wasn't expecting to really like it, and then when I watched it, I was like, okay, you got me.
I think because of the fact that it is animated really lends well to it as well,
Yeah.
because like if you try to do it live action, like we already have Van Helsing, and that's a gem on
Yeah.
its own.
Oh, that's a film.
I love Van Helsing. It's not
I
good,
enjoy
but
it.
my
It's
god,
it's
it's
a
fun.
terrible film, but I have fun with it anytime I watch it.
Another film with Martin Scorsese in it. Speaking of, playing Dracula, hamming it up. Oh no, it's
Yeah.
not him. No, it's what's his face from Moulin Rouge? That's who plays. Oh, it
Is it the
was
guy who plays the
John
count?
Leguizamo.
no, it's the Count. Yeah, Richard Roxburgh. That's him.
Yeah.
He plays Dracula in Van Helsing, and he is just
forgot about that.
incredible. Oh, camp levels.
I know. I do enjoy Dracula in that movie. He's just so flamboyant.
Oh yeah. Oh, what else have we not spoken about? We haven't really spoken about Chucky, interestingly enough.
No. Creepy.
Anyone actually like Chucky in this room? I mean, I like Chucky, but
I mean, I watched it and it creeped me the hell out because I have a thing against dolls. So it worked on terms of the horror. It made me scared. I don't think I ever watched any of the sequels though.
fair.
I feel as though I can't really comment on Chucky because the only Child's Play movie that I've actually seen is the recent reboot.
Oh, the one with
where-
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, so I feel as though I can't really comment on Chucky because obviously it's not Brad. Is it Brad Dourif?
Brad
who,
Dourif. Stephen
yeah.
Dorff. No, Stephen Dorff is in Blade. Brad Dourif, yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't really seen the original Child's Play. I've only seen the remake, so I feel as though I can't really give a thorough assessment of how I feel about Child's Play.
I mean, you
because
could still talk about the remake.
Yeah.
it wasn't great.
Okay.
it wasn't,
Fair enough.
It wasn't great, but I liked Mark Hamill in it, so
Fair. But it's like, I was watching this interview with Tom Holland. Yes, that Tom Holland. Talking about Child's Play. And he was like, do you know what? I wanted to make sure they did no sequels. So I burnt it, crushed it, decapitated it, and made sure there was nothing left of the doll. And the first thing the producer said was, so clearly you were leaving a sequel. And it's like, oh, for God's sake. Tom Holland's great. Even that one.
All the Tom Hollands are great.
Tom Holland there is great.
I haven't seen Hollander.
I haven't seen it either. Oh, speaking of Tom Holland, has anyone seen the Devil All the Time or whatever
I
it's called?
have not, actually.
I have seen it, yes.
How is it?
I was really bored. I was like, what the hell?
It's
Movie.
an interesting film.
Yeah.
I feel as though it kind of gets lost because
Honestly, it felt like 3 separate films smushed together.
yeah, it's trying. I felt as though it was trying to tell a couple of different stories of how people can go bad essentially and make wrong decisions, and I feel as though they told the stories without adding much depth into them. And I feel as though the actors, they all gave it their all. Like all
Oh,
the
yeah.
actors agree, but I feel as though they thought about their characters more than the people writing the script actually did.
So they were
Um,
basically going for a theme over solid storytelling.
that's how I felt, yeah. But I
Yeah.
will say this: it was great to see Tom Holland, actually stretching his wings.
Oh yeah, he was really good in that movie.
and
I think he's like the only good thing about that movie.
like it's just it was such a different role for him, and I really appreciated how he wasn't playing Peter Parker as even in other films that he's in, where it's The Lost City of Z or Onward, or there was that Benedict Cumberbatch, Michael
The current wars?
no, the current war, yeah. They're all kind of similar characters, whereas I feel as though The Devil Over Time was a real deviation from that, and I really appreciated that.
I think it has to do with his look as well, because he still looks 12.
Yeah.
I also I really enjoyed Robert Pattinson's performance in the film.
Oh, he freaking creeped me the hell out. I was like, I mean, I know that's the point, but I was just like, ugh,
Oh no, absolutely.
uncomfortable. But I was like, yeah, really good job.
Absolutely, and his accent in the film is something to behold.
Oh my god, it made me laugh.
And there's a gif going around of a word that he says in the film. I'd have to look it up. But it made me laugh when he said it in the film.
Yeah.
Even though it clearly was not meant to be taken that way.
Yeah, like I feel like sometimes when it's like a serious scene, like there's a proper serious scene where he's being like called out on his behavior, and his accent's just taking me out of it and just making me laugh. It's really funny.
It was something like Delusions. Devil Over Time.
Are you gonna play it for us?
No, I'm just looking. Yeah, it's Delusions.
Okay.
Oh dear.
But it's an interesting film. I'd say it's kind of worth the watch.
I'd say it's worth to see Tom Holland in a completely different role. It kind of shows you that he is capable of doing serious roles as well as, you know, obviously Spider-Man and things like Onward.
Absolutely, and I thought the rest of the cast were great as well, and I also thought it was quite well shot as well. I really liked the look of the film.
It looked good. I feel like the narrative was just not sure what it wanted to be. It was like I say, it was like 3 separate films.
Absolutely, and they just so happened to intersect.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, how'd you guys feel about the Ring films?
Oh, I remember watching them when I was a teenager, and I am not kidding you, my phone rang after it finished.
Ah,
And me and my friend were like, nah, I'm not answering the phone.
yeah, like the Gore Verbinski's first Ring, great. The original Ringu, I think it was the third film. No, the original Ringu from Japan, great. And then the Ring 2 sucks. Rings sucks.
Oh, and didn't they remake a film called One Missed Call, which was great?
Oh no,
the original.
The original
then
was
they remade it.
The original was so, but the remake was garbage.
Awful, yeah. And it was like, stop trying to remake J-horror, leave it alone.
Yeah, Pulse was really cool, but the remake was garbage. Even the sequel sucked.
I enjoyed The Ring though, it creeped me out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And arguably a little bit of The Grudge worked as well because it was the same director. But even then, like, the originals were just better.
Yeah. The Grudge creeped me out so much. Like, my friends were sleeping over and we watched one of the Grudge movies. I don't know if it was the first one or the second one, but I was like, please don't turn the light out. One of my friends flipped the light switch off, and I literally ran at the stairs because I was like, there's something behind me. And I literally ran at the stairs, and then I felt like something was on my leg. So I was like screaming, put the light on. So my friend flipped the light on, and the Hoover was wrapped around my leg. And I was just sat there like, I hate you guys. And then we went to bed. Fun story.
Fair
Have
enough.
either of you seen the newest version of The Grudge?
Nope,
I
no
haven't.
interest.
I didn't realise there was a newer version of The Grudge.
I can't imagine it's good.
It stars Andrea Riseborough, Damien Bashir, Betty Gilpin, and John Cho.
Okay, look, Damien Bashir was also in The Nun. That doesn't fill me with confidence.
Oh no! I'm just listing the cast.
I mean, if it's as fun as The Nun, I might watch it. But
Do you know the way that you were saying that Damien Bashir was in The Nun and then The Grudge? How do you feel about me saying that he's in Godzilla vs. Kong?
Do you know
dear.
what? Like, I know what to expect from Godzilla vs. Kong, so if anything, it'll only add to the experience.
That's fair.
Like,
I do
you know-
like Damien Bashir, though. He's a good actor.
Yeah, it's just a shame he needs a better agent.
Absolutely.
It's like Michael Fassbender. He just needs a better agent, dude.
Oh, totally.
Like,
I really want to see Michael Fassbender in a good movie again.
I
Like
know.
I'm counting on the next goal. The next goal wins with Taika Waititi, because that's the only film that I can think of that he's actually worked on recently.
Oh, are you saying The Snowman was not good?
I absolutely am, Dylan.
My God, what a mess of a film The Snowman was. Oh.
Still
Yeah,
haven't
he
seen
was.
it.
Do you know what? If you want to watch a film on what not to do, The Snowman is a
Snowman.
pretty good example. Yeah.
Rebecca
Cool.
Ferguson is in that movie, and J.K. Simmons.
Oh
J.K.
my
Simmons.
God, yeah. What a waste of a perfectly good J.K. Simmons.
Oh.
Like, my God. Yeah, so films you should watch to learn on what not to do. The Snowman, Suicide Squad.
Yep.
We're
Two
making a list.
prime examples. Like, don't get me wrong, I do like Suicide Squad, but I will also be the first one to say that it is absolutely terrible
I
in
know.
every filmmaking
Awful.
level.
It was an awful decision to let the people who made the trailer for Suicide Squad edit the movie.
Oh,
Worst
awful decision.
birthday present of my life. I got my friends got me birthday tickets to go and see it for my birthday, and I was like, I'm sad now. As soon as the movie ended, I was just like, well, that was just disappointing, and I'm really, really sad. And then I remember watching there's a cartoon, and it's called Escape from Arkham.
that
and
is
I was
so
like,
good.
That
It's so much
Is
better.
how you make a Suicide Squad movie. That would have made such a better, it was just a better story, and it had a really clever way of introducing the characters, and I was just like, they should have made that. Just
And
a
it's
live
actually
action.
like 40 minutes shorter. That's the best
Yeah.
bit. It's like, whoa, efficient is what it is.
Yes.
Okay, so here's a bit of a different one. Is there any piece of horror that you would recommend that is not a film?
Not a film. Ooh.
Ooh.
Probably a Junji Ito story.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't go wrong with Junji Ito. I mean,
There's a creepy one that I remember looking at, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's to do with all the men in this particular family get attached to the skull of their ancestors, and there's just this big train of dead skulls, and the most recent person in the family gets attached to it.
ooh, I can't remember the name
I
of
can't
that
remember.
one.
I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, that one creeped me out.
Yeah, I mean, hell, you could go with the classics like Uzumaki or
Yeah.
Gyo, Tomei, and all that, but the one that's always stood out to me was Amigara Fault, because
Yeah,
it's
that one's really creepy.
yeah, because like it's so simple, you know, like, oh, let's make a spiral scary. And it's like, how can you make a spiral scary? 12 chapters later, a spiral is terrifying.
Yeah.
Don't watch the movie, it's not good.
Oh no,
And
I heard. There's a YouTuber I watch called Super Eye
I
Patch
love
Wolf.
Eye Patch, yeah.
He's so good, isn't he? But yeah, he basically did a video about the collection, and he was like, it's so bad.
Yeah. Like, no joke, I actually use Eye Patch as a reference on my master's course.
Nice.
But yeah.
Yeah, I just binged all of his videos in like one day. I was just
Oh,
like,
Jesus,
I
wow.
like, yeah, Ryan showed me him, and I was just like, oh, well, that's what I'm gonna do for the rest of my day.
Yeah, absolutely. I love his Shenmue 3 one.
Yeah.
I think for me, if we're going full on horror, I'd probably recommend the first 2 episodes of the recent Stephen Moffat, Mark Gatiss Dracula
Oh.
television series. It's only 3 episodes long, but the third episode kind of really lets the show down. But the first 2 are pretty damn solid, and I think it's Claes Bang, who plays Dracula in the show, is phenomenal. He's fantastic. And as a side of comedy for the show, I will also recommend the What We Do in the Shadows TV series, which is also developed by Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement, who worked on the film.
Nice.
The show is just hilarious. Centers around a different group of vampires in America as opposed to New Zealand in the original, and it's just so funny. There's great guest stars, and it's got a pretty fun plot to it as well. And Guillermo, who is their I forget what they call their familiar. He's their familiar. He's just probably the best character in the show. And it's really interesting to see where all their stories go, and also the introduction of different creatures like ghosts and obviously werewolves, but there's also ghosts and witches. It's a pretty fun show.
Nice.
I found the name of the Junji Ito story. It's called Honored Ancestors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, he's just, when you go through his like catalog, you just forget how much he's actually done.
Yeah. He's done so many stories.
Yeah. Okay, so if I were to recommend, I've got a couple in mind. I've got 2 from literature, and I've got 2 games for you.
Oh.
The first is J. Fanu Sheridan's Carmilla, which is
Okay.
Carmilla is just like one of the first female vampires to come about in literature, and
Ooh.
it's so cool because like it's only a short story as well, like not even 100 pages, but it's just the tension of like, okay, there's something not right with this girl, but we have welcomed her, we're treating her well, she's not doing anything wrong except, you know, having a relationship with the daughter. Okay, that's okay, fair. So yeah, Carmilla, something I would highly recommend, and is also a character in the Castlevania series. So
Oh, yeah.
that's who she is based off of.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm definitely going to read this.
The second is actually an anthology by Robert W. Chambers called The King in Yellow, which is what the first season of True Detective is inspired by.
Nice.
Very cool.
So, yeah, and it's also a work that inspired H.P. Lovecraft. So, there you go. Those are my 2 literature-based ones. Games-wise,
Cool.
I would recommend Oxenfree, which is a really cool 2D game. Have you played it?
I've heard of it. I haven't played it yet, but
That's-
I've seen like other people play it. So
Yeah, like it's imagine The Breakfast Club, but in a haunted island.
yeah.
And it's just like, it's only 4 hours long, so you'll be done in an afternoon, but it is so good.
Cool.
And the final game I recommend is Soma, which is just,
Oh, I love that game. It's so good.
yeah, it's so fantastic. Like, you play as an individual who is just in an underwater like facility, and you get to worry about what you are, who you are, and just deal with existentialist dread, which is wonderful.
Always
You
a
know?
fun thing.
But yeah, just to bring some diversity here, those are my 4 picks.
Oh, I have one literature pick. I'm sorry, I keep picking things.
How dare you? What is it?
It's all right.
It's a short story, and it's called "I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream."
Oh my
and
god, yes.
Everyone should read it. It's so chilling. There's also a game, but like
Yes, there is.
the game's not as good.
Man,
What's it called? I have no mouth and I must scream.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it's a short story.
Philip K. Dick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually read it in like it's a book, and it's just a collection of short horror stories. And if you can't find it anywhere, David, I don't mind lending it to you.
Oh, that would be great if you could.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you so
got
much.
It's got like a ton of horror stories in it, so yeah. Definitely think you should give it a read.
I'll give it a go. Thank you.
Sweet.
You're welcome.
Man, it's so cool that it's like, oh my god, someone else knows I have no mouth and I must scream. That's so awesome.
And then,
But yeah. Is there anything else we need to talk about with regards to the horror? I mean, we're going to be talking about horror again soon.
yeah, we're
But,
gonna be talking about our favorite baddies. Ooh,
Oh god, yeah.
excited.
I think I already know what mine is, but yeah, like I think we spoke about directors for about 10 minutes before moving
And then
on.
everything else, yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool because we got to go through quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
So
And the discussion will only continue in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
or next week. You never
Yeah.
know.
Or next week.
I don't think we're ever gonna run out of stuff to talk about with horror.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Like even if it's just talking about Jason X for 2 hours, I am
Yep.
down for that. Like that film is a gem.
Yeah. I really want to do like a watch through with you guys because it'd just be really funny.
Yeah.
Do you guys think my first introduction to Jason should be Jason X?
Do you know what? It would be cool if you just go backwards.
That'd be
10,
really
9, 8.
interesting.
Like they gradually get better as horror films. It's like, whoa, what an experience. Like
That sounds amazing, not gonna lie.
yeah. Ah, right. As far as horror is concerned, I think today is tuckered out.
Yup.
Yeah, I think we covered our bases.
Yeah.
I'm surprised if anyone's still listening.
I mean, this is the longest we've had so far, which is
Yeah.
2 hours and nearly 20 minutes.
So yeah, guys, we like horror. In case you didn't know.
It's a fun topic for us.
It's either good or a comedy.
Yeah.
Or it's actually meant to be a comedy.
Or it's a actual comedy, yeah. Like, I don't
I-
know, like Chips is a pretty horrific film, so
What I'm enjoying about these talks is like I think I don't know if this is for David as well, but I come across as quite shy when you first meet me, so I feel like anyone listening is probably like, "Wow, my God, she actually talks a lot."
how dare you? Now you guys have been doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been long stretches of time where I'm just sitting here, so
Yeah. It's good.
yeah,
I'm liking it.
absolutely.
Very, very good.
Yeah. So, yes, with that out of the way, I'd like to thank anyone who's watching still
Thank
for
you very
watching.
much.
Thank you.
have-
You have a lot of patience.
This is true. You deserve some sort of medal, sir. So comment down below and I shall pin you to the top of the comment section.
Yeah.
That is your reward for watching us. So yeah, thanks for coming, and we shall return next week. And who knows, we might be live, we might not. It's October, who knows? So yeah, thank you everyone, and goodbye.
See
Peace
ya.
out.